Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine walking through your neighborhood in Ang Mo Kio. The sun has set, the streets are quiet, but somewhere, hidden in that stillness, an unspeakable cruelty was taking place against the most innocent and voiceless among us, community cats. This is the true story of Lin Pengli Barrie, a man who lived among us, looked ordinary, and yet harbored a darkness so deep that even hardened investigators were shaken by what they uncovered. Starting in late 2019, Lin began venting his anger and emotional frustration by targeting community cats. At first, he kicked them, but that cruelty soon escalated. He began carrying waterproof bags on his late night walks. He would abduct one or more cats, seal them in these bags, cutting off their air, and either release them elsewhere or, more horrifyingly, throw them from high floors of HDB blocks. Many cats died. 3 particularly gruesome incidents were brought before the courts. On one night in April of 2020, Lin threw a cat off the 12th floor. It died from the impact. Just weeks later, he threw another cat off the 8th floor. When he found it still breathing on the ground, he stomped on its neck to finish the job. Then he carefully placed the body in a trash bag and disposed of it far away to hide what he had done. 1 year later, while on bail, he returned to the same area to test if he could still resist his urges. He found another cat, slammed it against the wall twice, and left it with shattered bones and permanent injuries. These weren't impulsive acts. They were deliberate, methodical, and deeply disturbing. So what did the district judge do? The district judge sentenced Lin to a total of 14 months imprisonment. That's 4 months for each of the first 2 charges and 6 months for the last charge, and all to run consecutively. The judge also banned Lin from owning animals for a year. He recognized that Lin had been suffering from major depressive disorder and that this may have impaired his judgment. He also considered a prior case involving cat abuse as a benchmark for sentencing. But the prosecution believed this wasn't enough. They appealed, arguing that the sentence was far too lenient given the gruesome nature of the crimes and the need to deter others. They wanted Lin to serve at least 24 months. Lin, on the other hand, initially filed a cross appeal, claiming the sentence was too harsh, but later changed his position. He said the sentence was fine as it was, but if the court wanted to increase it, not to go beyond 14 months. So the case went up to the High Court, and that's where Justice Vincent Hung gave a judgment that will likely shape how animal cruelty is treated by Singapore courts moving forward. The court found that the district judge had given too much weight to unreported lower court decisions that tended to hand down light sentences. This, the High Court said, created a clustering effect that failed to reflect Parliament's intent to send a strong message that animal cruelty must be met with stern punishment. Justice Hung made several key points. First, animals, especially community cats, are inherently vulnerable. They cannot report abuse. They cannot ask for help. And for that very reason, the law must be their shield. Second, cruelty to animals is not only harmful to the animals, but offends the moral fabric of society. It's a crime that touches our collective conscience. Third, despite the rise in penalties under the law, statistics show that acts of cruelty remain high and may even be increasing. Something had to change. As for Lin's mental health, the court noted that while his depression may have contributed to some of his earlier offenses, it didn't excuse them. He knew what he was doing. He planned his actions. He tried to hide the evidence. And by the time he attacked the 3rd cat, he had already been diagnosed and treated. Yet, he still returned to the scene, still followed through on the violence. His guilt, the court said, was not diminished in any meaningful way. In the end, the High Court increased Lin's sentence to a total of 27 months imprisonment. This sentence, the court said, wasn't crushing. It was proportionate. It reflected the gravity of the crimes, the suffering of the victims, and the importance of deterrence. And in the court's own words, echoing the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Now let's take a quiet moment and reflect. When someone harms the defenseless, we do not merely punish them to balance scales. We affirm the dignity of life itself. We remind society that even the voiceless deserve compassion. No creature, however small or silent, should ever suffer under the weight of human cruelty. There's a teaching, quiet but profound, that says form is emptiness, emptiness is form. When cruelty arises from our suffering and we fail to see the interconnectedness of all beings, we cause harm not only to others but to ourselves. But with wisdom, we can let go of the need to hurt and the desire to dominate. We can choose instead to protect, to care, and to heal. So may this judgment not only serve justice, but awaken a little more compassion in all of us. Thanks for joining me in this case summary. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.